Erika, you have been with the DOT almost a year now.
Yes.
So how did you find yourself here?
Haphazardly found myself here.
Okay.
I never did anything in highway safety prior to starting with CoDOT. I worked as a social worker for older adults and adults with disabilities, and one of the programs I managed there was actually a direct transportation program for older adults to navigate how to get around places, and also looking at, is it safe for them to drive?
Okay.
So when I saw what happened or what posted for this position, it just seemed like a natural transition to managing a program that did direct services to working in highway safety.
And how has the transition been?
Very interesting.
Okay.
It's a different world. It is a different world, but it's one I'm enjoying tremendously. It's just a different take on transportation.
So let's talk more about how you found yourself in social work, and then what connections you see from that to transportation.
For the vast majority of my career, working with older adults, specifically driving, is a huge topic of conversation. I can't even explain how many times I sat down with somebody I was working with or their family talking about whether or not that individual should be driving anymore and the safety around that. I worked with a lot of individuals that had cognitive issues, whether it was dementia, had a stroke, just that connection, and whether or not they felt safe driving, whether they wanted to drive, or if they didn't recognize the fact they shouldn't be driving. So lots of conversations with families and individuals around safety and driving and the risks that they pose, especially when somebody was diagnosed with a cognitive impairment or dementia, on the correlation or the interaction with the fact that you don't recognize that your brain isn't processing that that's a red light.
Because that's your tool to know, right?
Yes, and so it is not your fault that there's a disconnection for how your brain is processing, understanding that this is a red light or a green light, and your body actually responding to knowing that information and understanding that it's not your fault, especially when someone who has a cognitive impairment. It's nothing against you as a person. And then understanding that social work is not a well-funded social issue, and transportation is typically a more well-funded activity. But services for individuals needing transportation is not a well-funded. Station looks a little different because you're looking at rural areas. We have one grantee that we work with in the Highway Safety Office that does a lot of public awareness campaigns particularly in our southwest part of Colorado, on how to access those services or reduce fare services so that people are not driving when they do not feel safe to drive.
But is it usually a doctor conversation, or is it...
No, it's a social worker.
I was going to say, because I feel like the doctor conversation becomes a little bit easier.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't want to listen to their doctor either. But there are, in the state of Colorado, there are groups called Area Agencies on Aging, and they all have resource hotlines. And so a lot of times it's folks reaching out to those resource hotlines saying, I don't know what to do, have conversations. There is a pamphlet that CoDOT has on how to have those conversations with folks too, effectively have those conversations.
One of our customers is actually AARP, and they have an app that their customers have access to, which is great, that gives them rewards for driving safe. It doesn't have that conversation, that's a totally different thing, but what's going on there? But it's a starting point to understand safety.
Yes. So there's some local, regional, and statewide campaigns that have resources on how to have those conversations and what resources in your local community. So when you say it's not safe to drive, here's how you can access alternative solutions to getting the places you need to get. There's all kinds of things like circulars that just go around to specific communities that have higher rates of older adults with disabilities, that have weekly pickups that take you to King Soopers or Walmart or certain areas, so that way that you try to get the biggest bang for your buck in a van, and you have 15 people that are all going to the same location at the same time. So it's just...
Does from a resource perspective, does every state have tools of that nature?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is part of the Older Americans Act that there is funding for transportation services, but how that money gets spread out varies from state to state.
I see.
And how each state provides those resources varies too. You always got to watch out for the geese crossing.
I think these hazards, animal hazards, are a huge part of driving in Colorado.
Oh, yeah, you guys want to stop now too, huh?
I mean...
But Colorado just finished building one of the largest wildlife crossing bridges.
It's a good opportunity to talk about it. This is crazy. So, talk to me about 119, and I think that this is the accurate location.
Yeah, so it's between Boulder and Longmont, and so it's a pretty heavily trafficked area, especially because Boulder's an expensive place to live, so people live in Longmont commute to Boulder.
So they commute back and forth, yeah.
And they've been doing a lot of construction there on 119 now that I no longer live and work in Boulder. I don't travel it as much, but this is the first place that we put the speed cameras.
So this is July 21st, and this is fascinating. The reduction from the week before, and this is by hour, 55% in a week.
Yep.
And then it keeps going down on every one. And it's funny because I looked at, because they just started ticketing, right? This is just warnings.
They just started, yeah. It was all warnings, so the citations just started last week.
It's fascinating. We've seen the same thing in Arkansas and a couple other places. You can get a lot out of presence. But this is pretty cool. So this is just excessive speeding. But it's amazing to see it. And it's a great start to solving that problem.
Yeah, work zone safety is one of our performance measures for the Highway Safety Office, right? And looking at crashes and fatalities in work zones, right? So trying to reduce any things that might be happening in this work zone is a huge priority for CoDOT, right?
Awesome. Well, it's working, so keep up the good work. Where's the next one?
Oh, I don't know where the next one's planned. They have several different locations throughout the state that they have planned, so I know Floyd Hill is on the list.
Okay. Well, after driving Floyd Hill, I can see why. Well, excellent. Erika, thank you for taking time to go through this with me today. The work that you guys do, I don't think it's publicized enough. Is there anything else that you think is important that people know of what you guys do?
I think it's just important to be aware and to really understand and to continue when you see those campaigns out there in whatever state you live in to push that messaging, right? With this, no highway safety office, no matter what state, is just putting out a campaign just to spend money and put out a campaign, right? It is there for a reason, and data usually backs that. And so to continue to spread the word, right?
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right. Awesome.